So, little backstory. I actually wanted to be a drummer, and I don't think we had space in the house, nor could we actually afford like a drum kit. So I was given an acoustic guitar. I remember the brand. It was a Gibson, like a Gibson G150. I also fact checked that it's still sold. And yeah, that was my first guitar. And years later, many years later, I was endorsed by Gibson, which was it just blew my mind. So yeah, the whole V to B transition happened in those years. I still can't believe that happened. But the first guitar was very cool um, because of my restrictions on that instrument. I mean, that's all I had. So if I had to like play rock music or whatever, like finger style or pop, everything happened on that guitar. I learned everything on that simple guitar. So that's my that was my first guitar. My initial bands and collaborations until now is going to be like a six-part mini-series on Flix. Uh, but okay, so I started playing guitar around 91, 92, around that time. And initially, I would take part in like inter-school competitions, which I found really boring because they would want to do stuff that I didn't want to do. Like they want to do like pop stuff, and I was listening to at that point a lot of prog rock, Rush, Yes, King's X. Um, so around that time, there was a band in Lucknow. I was in Lucknow at that point. There was a band called Polio and the Rock Opera, a really cool band, and it was headed by an American guitar player who had just come out of Berkeley and was learning sitar at Barkhande in Lucknow. He was learning classical music. He was actually learning sitar, and he had a very cool band. And he kind of got me hooked to prog rock a lot. I was just blown away. I was like, "What's going on?" So we did this little stint, like a trio, wherein Chris, the guitar player, played bass. There was a Kenyan drummer called Joski, if I remember correctly, and I played guitar. And we actually did like a short King's X set, like a tribute. That was my first really cool band experience. That was like around class nine, ninth grade, and I was already getting offers from college bands to play with them. So I spent those years playing with college bands, semi-pro bands. The first real serious rock band that I was part of, that got somewhere, was called Asphyxia. We were a we were a thrash metal band. I don't think people know about this, but yeah, like I mean, back then I was a lot into like 80s, 90s thrash, along with a lot of other stuff, including Slayer and Iron Maiden. That's not thrash, but you know what I'm saying, right? Pantera. Well, actually, I was part of another band before that called Eleven Commandment. That was more hardcore. With them, I think the claim was that we were like India's first death metal band. I'm not too sure about that. The bassist thought so, but we would be doing with them obituary and like Dayside and all that stuff. And it was like a Jekyll and Hyde thing because on one side I'd be hearing and playing this stuff, and then I go back and listen to like SRV, you know, or or like some Steve Vai or like a Tony McAlpine album. So it is always like either this extreme or that extreme. Um, so I was doing this rock circuit, IIT College Fest circuit till the winter of 2002 when I got a call from Subir Malik Parikrama, and at that point he was managing a band called Silk Route, who were big when I was in school, and they were looking for a guitar player. And Subir asked me to audition for them. I was like, wow, okay. And so I did, and it really worked out. I mean, like when I met Mohit and Kim and Kenny at that point, we just kind of got along like we knew each other for years. And I spent like a good 5, 6 years with them. That was like a very cool gig that I had with them, and I learned a lot. Thanks to that, I played with other people from the whole indie pop circuit around that time. I also got to meet and hang and work with Indian Ocean, and of course Rahul Ram is like a really good friend of mine. And that's all thanks to that Silk Route thing that happened then. I got to work with Shobhaji. I got to work with a whole bunch of other bands. I was also part of a band called Bandish at that point, which did two albums, and so all that happened. Then I took a diversion and got into like serious studio work, compositional work for some time, and then from there, till 2009, I formed a band called Adil Manuel, which did pretty well for itself. We did an EP and a full length album. The album was a massive collaboration at that point with our biggest influences, and guys that we look up to, I still look up to, and in Indian scene, Blue Banks and Ranjit Barrett, Sanjay Devecha, all our heroes basically. And that was a great experience. And then after that, that band disbanded in 2012 end or 2013 early, and I went back to freelancing and compositional work. I moved to Bombay, Jan 2015, um, and then I formed the Adil Manuel collective. Currently, um, kind of completing an album, like a lengthy album. So I'm in two minds whether I should do like singles or like a huge album. I have enough material for like a double disc album, but discs are dead. So let's see. I'm also back to compositional work, so I'm doing sort of ad work, compositional work, and of course session work. So that, in a nutshell, is what I'm up to these days and my musical journey. Well, stick to your sound, and work on it. That's my advice, man. If you have a sound, if you have something that you like believe in and want to play, then just stick to that. There are far too many things that will try and kind of like throw you off balance, but if you have that sound that you're looking for and want to work on, then stick to it. A, um, B is go slow. Nothing's gonna happen in a rush. Nothing's gonna work out. Go slow. Stick to your guns. Those are my, my learnings. Yeah, that's it. My biggest influences, well, there are far too many, and if I were to really get into that talk, we'd have like a six-part mini series that would be aired on Flicks. And but I'll start. Okay, start with the biggest, the guy who had the biggest impact on my life, playing wise, thinking wise, is undoubtedly Alan Holdsworth. Definitely, although my playing doesn't even come like a trillionth close to any of that, or like, but it just opened up my mind. I mean, when I heard him, it just blew my mind. So I first came across Alan's music when I was in school, thanks to again to my mentor Chris. At that point, I think he had handed me Tavakron, his album. I didn't really get into the sound, but I was just blown away by like that strange alien like sound. He gave me a Tavakron, and it was on an old Meltrack 60-minute tape. Like you would record stuff if you couldn't afford the real tape, or you couldn't afford like an import CD, which would cost a bomb. So side A had a Tavakron, I still remember, and side B had Mike Stern's Upside Downside. And I kind of got onto Upside Downside more because it kind of was closer to my rock sound, So, but yeah, Alan Holdsworth definitely. Then Tribal Tech, Scott Henderson again. Wow. Earth, Wind and Fire, John Scofield. There's so many. Also, like when I was in Silk Road, Kim, the keyboardist and re- recorder player, he kind of got me into classical music. So thanks to him, I really got into Brahms, Bartok, Tchaikovsky, uh, all that kind of stuff. So I was really hooked on to Mozart's flute concertos. So like I said, I can't really pinpoint one specific influence. There are far too many. But these are like some of them, and I'm just kind of skimming on the surface right now. So that we'll keep for part two. Both I would feel like a mix and match. Well, I have some songs on my hard disks that that are still in the process of being completed because there's always something that I feel can be added or is missing. But the flip side or the other side is that I've also finished songs in like a few days, So depending on where I am and how I feel, like for example, if I'm composing a song, sometimes like the A section or like the verse just comes within seconds or like a few minutes, and then you really want to get like a nice B section or a chorus or something going like a riff or like a line which leads into like the next section, and that at times doesn't happen, or if it does it's sounding too forced or like there's something that's not matching up. That's when it takes time. So depending on what it is, it can either be perfection or completion. While doing sessions, then it's like a different thing altogether, because then you're being paid by someone to do like a specific thing which is very brief oriented, so that's where you're looking at perfection and completion at the same time, because it's very time based. So that's my take on it. Legato, I'd say, definitely, massively overlooked. And just like extensions, different fingerings, those are the ones that I'm really fond of. I'm not a big picking guy. But yeah, like legato definitely, finger stretching. I mean, like thing is like this getting like newer voicings, like extended voicings, because I really find like normal voicings boring. I just like, and that's one of the things, like when I picked up the guitar was because of my mentor and people who I hung out with, who would show me like, or who guide me. They kind of kept opening my mind up. So as a result, I actually wanted to have like a piano sound, like a keyboard sound on the guitar. So those guitar like normal voicings never worked for me from the beginning, So I would say, like, I mean, in a workshop that Scott Henderson was doing, he had this incredible take. He's like, it's like imagine the guitars having six pianos. And that concept itself is mind blowing if you think about it. Um, Also, I want to do like a little shout out to Sandeep Chowta right now, because thanks to him, I got to watch Holdsworth uh, try to take amongst all the incredible musicians that he's um, brought down here to India. So, thank you, Sandy. Nonconformist. I just love breaking the rules, because it's like, you know, that's how I am. That's how I'm wired. It has to have an original ring to it. It has to have a specific sound. I'm constantly pushing myself, and that at times can also kind of work against me, because I'm not happy with the output time, but which helps me push myself even harder to get newer songs out. So right now, actually, I'm in the process of um, recording some new jazz fusion stuff that I will be playing soon at some festivals. And yeah, I'm just pushing for my sound, like I said early on, like find your sound, latch on to it, go slow, have patience and work on it. Don't get stuck in that whole thing that, hey, this guy looks so cool on Instagram, maybe I should do this. But look at yourself. I mean, know your strengths and then work on it. You won't be able to do everything. There's far too many, and even like 10 lifetimes is not going to be enough for it. So stick to what you want, know what you want, and then put that phone down and play. My best performance till date. I've had many memorable performances. I won't say best, because there is nothing such as the best. It's so, like, especially live, like, you're reacting to something else. You're reacting to like your own band, the audience vibe, the venue, all that stuff. I don't know, like that. things. I think each one is special in their own way. Too many memorable ones. Only one guy, man. Stevie, Stevie Wonder. Yeah. Yeah. I'd be a chef, or like something to do with food. Like improvising with food. That's my other passion.
Dream composer you would like to work with?
John Williams, Hans Zimmer. My most embarrassing gig story, well, there are far too many.
Name a couple.
I'll tell you one. I can tell you a few actually, but this was like initial years. We were with, I was playing with Seafood at that point. The band hadn't disbanded and all that stuff. So anyway, I think we were playing at Hansraj College in Delhi, or was it KMC? I'm not too sure. And sometimes for college festivals, we'd end with a Junoon song actually called Dosti. It's a very cool song. I mean, if you guys haven't checked out Junoon yet, you check them out. Also, the song called Dosti and the album Azadi. Shameless plug-in, but it is a classic album. So we had like a specific riff in the end, and I jump, and we go bang, like just end the song like that. And at that point, I was quite like active on stage. I used to like run around, and but I didn't have a wireless back then. Now I do for these kind of gigs. I didn't have a wireless back then. What I didn't know was in doing all that tomfoolery or whatever. Like the guitar cable had gone around my feet, and when the key came to jump, I actually jumped and I fell. It was so because guitar went like this. It was bang, like feedback, and luckily the cable didn't come off. But of course, like I mean, like my hand had hit like the strings, and because I was using like a high gain sound, like distortion, basically. Like it was just noisy. That was kind of hilarious. Second embarrassing story. Okay, so many years ago, we were playing a New Year's gig in Chhattisgarh. Chhattisgarh had just been formed, and we scored this New Year's gig with a band I was playing in many years ago. And there were two guitar players, me and another guy, and that guy was extremely, extremely loud, so loud that none of us could hear any of our parts. Even like Opa, the drummer, like, but only in songs that he knew like fully well with confidence. So his volume would go up, and his everything would just be jacked up. So one of the songs we would end up doing towards the end would be Highway Star, and Highway Star has that classic twin guitar solo, and so we had an act. We'd go up in front of the stage and kind of do the whole 80s thing or whatever. And because this guy was so loud, we couldn't hear ourselves, right? And the song ended, and I always kept thinking that there's something strange. But I'm like, Chuck, there was only this guy, and you know, uh, yeah. So the song ended, and someone from the audience said, "At least plug in." And then I realized what happened was that maybe it was my foot or someone's foot. Like, so the cable goes in like this, but there was somehow the guitar was unplugged, basically. And so, although I was playing, I mean, I wasn't plugged in, and I got shouted at. It was really embarrassing, really freaking embarrassing. Yeah.